All right, so today we're introducing Hold to Gustaf, the Portuguese Podengo Pequeno. If you don't know what that is, totally Google it because it's basically the cutest dog in the entire universe. Obviously, because you're looking at Goose. So we're going to introduce him to holds. He's had a little bit of hold work, so he's a little bit easier for this. But a lot of people ask me all the time about how I introduce holds, so I figured I'd make a quick little video with Goose on step one. And then as we progress, because I really need to work on it more with him, I'll make another video for the next step and so on and so forth. So the first thing that you need to introduce hold is a sit stay or some sort of stay. A down stay would obviously be awkward if you're trying to stick something in their mouth. A stand stay could work, but most dogs don't hold it very well. So just do a sit stay. So I tell the Goose to sit and then I tell him to stay. Right there, I'm making him twirl because there's a lot of mental work for them. And so it can be really stressful. So I'll introduce a couple holds and then I'll just kind of break it up with other obedience that they already have. So Goose has a sit down, twirl, play dead, stand because he's a little show dog. So anyway, put him in a sit stay, I tell him to stay, and I literally just take that's a PVC pipe and I just stick it in his mouth. And I hold it closed. I'm not holding it super hard. As you can see, I'm just holding the bottom of his mouth. You do not have to do a ton of pressure. If your dog's going to fight you really, really hard for this, I just put a leash on them, like a slip lead. And I can maybe grab another dog and show you what it looks like kind of when they fight you a little bit more. But Goose is pretty cooperative because he's been with me for a long time. So no leash for him because he knows is at stay. Put it in his mouth, hold his mouth closed, and just give him a little scritchies and tell him he's a good boy. So it's a positive thing. I mark when he's calm. So once he's holding it and he's kind of calm about it, I mark a yes. And then I do not take it out of his mouth. So if you watch me, just put it in there and I'm like, good boy, what a good boy. And then I grab the dowel and I say yes, and he comes off of it himself. So just grab the dowel, say yes, or whatever your kind of marker word is. If you have clicker training or whatever, just kind of mark it and the dog will come off of it on their own. They're not going to probably sit there with it. I mean, if they do, good for them. Get a treat and they'll drop it and then you can reward them. But never, ever, ever just rip it out of their mouth or just like take it out of their mouth. Hold it steady, and then they'll come off of it themselves. This prevents them in the future from just kind of spitting it out when you touch it or go to grab it. So I want him to wait for my marker word. Again, see how I'm not putting a ton of pressure on him. I'm telling you he's a good boy. And you saw that was a very clear example of him coming off of it himself. And then I mark yes, obviously, and then he gets a treat because I marked yes. So he has to get his treatsies because he did a good job. Um, Again, this is really hard, like mental work for them. So I try to break it up. If you have a bigger dog, like we put the bigger dogs on the couch for sit stays and then do the holds, and then we'll walk them off the couch. We'll do a little healing. We'll do a little like stuff they know and they have fun with. You can see the change in his attitude where he's just like wagging his tail when I break it up and he's just like, okay, we're having fun. Yay. So just make sure that you're not doing a bunch of them and drilling them over and over and over again because holds are weirdly really like difficult for dogs. It's a lot of standing still and holding still and being steady and it's a lot of focus. So I'll do like maybe 3 or 4 in a row and then I'll break it up. Um, right there, Goose is about done with me. So here I think I do one more after this because yeah, he's showing that he's kind of done with this exercise, and that's okay. I don't want to push him past where he wants to work because he's not going to enjoy it. So in the future, retrieves are self-rewarding, especially for a dog like Goose who's a hound but a little bit terrier like. Once you start throwing things for him to go get, he's going to love it. So putting a little bit of pressure on it at the beginning just to create some steadiness will not negatively affect his ability to retrieve or his want to retrieve. I just want to make the hold really steady